Alright, so this game got a patch, and I guess the best way to describe the patch for this game, if you haven't played it yet and you're still thinking about it, is that it is a huge, huge improvement over the last version of the game. Version 1.04 is the version that I'm talking about. But the game still needs huge, huge improvements on top of that. Excuse me. Got some Angry Orchard burps coming up out of me. So, totally not going to edit that out. Moving on. So basically what that means is that the game does, or did have a lot of its issues addressed. Paragon leveling is awesome. The monk changes are pretty good for the most part. A lot of the class changes are good. Item drop rates were increased, 4 times or something, I think, across the board as far as like normal monsters dropping rares and such. The monsters, elite monsters have a little bit less health. White monsters have a little bit more health, which is a change that I, suggested a little while back. That I think is a great change. So there's a lot of really good changes. It still needs a lot of love though to, live up to the great successor to Diablo 2 that it should be. So it's not what we deserve yet. All soapboxing aside. So this isn't the patch that fixes the game and makes it what it should be, but it is a great step in the right direction. Hopefully they take a lot more steps in the right direction because the game still needs more steps, a lot more steps. But yeah, it's a good direction. So what I'm going to show you though today, I know I normally have tank videos on my YouTube channel as far as Diablo 2 goes, but I'm going to show you a really awesome DPS farming build, and I'm here in Act 1 in Inferno. And you saw that at the beginning of the video, so, after you see all the damage, maybe you'll say, oh, that's edited, but, it's actually, it's not, it's pretty awesome. We're still in Inferno. So, I call this dropping bells on a bitch, because the fucking bell move is finally good. I'm sorry, excuse me, but, it's been so ass, for so long, it's finally useful. So before we get to the bell, though, let's talk about what this build basically does. And what this build does is a bunch of damage, and that's it. So I can do this with my gear in, which I'll show you real quick. I'm not using my shield for this spec. Oh, I got a cell. Excuse me. But I can do this with my gear in Act 1 and Act 2 quite well. Without really any real issues. I'm in Act 1 right now just for time and, kind of emphasis, but it works really well in Act 2. Act 3, you can do it if you have similar gear level to me, but it's a little difficult. Some monsters are going to cause a lot of problems for you. So mostly Act 1 and Act 2. And I normally have, 7,000 plus armor and about, 750 or 800 resistance, but I'm not using an offhand shield, so this is like all my damage stuff. Now, ideally, you would want to have a two-handed weapon with this build, if you could find one, especially considering that another thing that they changed in this patch is that two-handed weapons just in general have a lot better stats. So they can spawn with way higher stat rolls, higher damage rolls, yada yada yada, etc. So, they weren't that good before, but even still they would have been good for this build just because of the straight up damage that you get from the bell. But I don't have one, so I'm using dual wield. So I have high crit damage on both of these, so, whatever. Not high, but whatever. Anyway, so Foresight on Deadly Reach gives you 18% increased damage for 30 seconds. That's basically up all the time. Blazing Wrath on Breath of Heaven gives you 15% damage for 45 seconds. That's up all the time. And then you've got Blinding Flash with Faith in the Light, which gives you 30% additional damage for 3 seconds. And you can stack that for 3 seconds with your Overawe overactivation of Mantra of Conviction to get a positively absurd, 78% damage increase for 3 seconds. So that's really ridiculous. Serenity, because why the hell not? I don't know. You could swap something else out. You could probably get one of the Mystic Allies or something if you really wanted to. Maybe like a Earth Ally to tank for you. But I like Serenity because I don't like to move out of Frozen and such, so I just pop that. And then one with everything because you have to have it. But I'm using Exalted Soul, and this is actually kind of important for this build because this actually got a buff. So it used to just give you 100 spirit, which is kind of like eh. But now it gives you 100 spirit and 1 spirit per second regen, which is actually really important because that means in between elite packs, you're going to get your spirit regened so that you have more spirit to drop bells on bitches. And Chant of Resonance, which for the same reason just get the spirit every second. You could swap this one with Fleet-footed, or if you need a little damage reduction, you go Seize the Initiative. You could use Resolve, but for this kind of, that's better for like a tankier build. You'd probably want the armor. Or you could get the dodge. You know, Transcendence is my favorite one. I just don't use it for this build because it's not really needed. So, you know, you could really swap that one out. But I think personally that the Spirit Regen is the best thing because you want to make sure you have as much free Spirit as you do at the beginning of each fight because these bells do an absurd amount of damage. So the bell move itself, Wave of Light, as it's technically called, again, we're going to refer to it from here on out as dropping bells on a bitch, is fantastic now. It finally doesn't suck. Most of the rune variants still suck. But the base item, or rather the base move, got upgraded from, I don't know, 200% or some terrible bullcrap to 390%, which is really good weapon damage. But most importantly, Wall of Light puts it to 566% weapon damage, which is fantastic. So that is what a move that costs 75 spirit should do. It should do an ass ton of damage. Now, if you're a mage, or excuse me, a wizard, if you're a wizard or a demon hunter, you know, you might think, wow, that's not that great, it's awesome, but I have moves that do blah, 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 and I hit really big all the time. Okay, that's true, but I'm a monk, and monks, you know, have never hit that hard, especially considering that this move used to do, like, barely more than my frickin' auto attack did. So, that's a huge improvement. But at any rate, the reason the rest of these aren't so good, Explosive Light, this actually is probably the, I don't know, maybe the next best. This and Empowered Wave are probably the two best besides this one, but they're still kind of pointless. So Explosive Light does 430% weapon damage in an area of effect, but like when you drop a bell, it's a giant fucking bell. Like that hits an absolutely, like the hitbox is even bigger than what you just saw there. So there's absolutely no reason for you to really use Explosive Light. Like you're already going to be able to hit a huge, ridiculous area when you drop the attack. So you just want the damage because the area is still huge. So this is basically pointless. Empowered Wave is the only other one that I'd say is actually a contender. So Explosive Light's not ass, but it's pointless. Empowered Wave, though, you can do more bells for less spirit. So that's not as good, but, you know, with certain other builds, you might want it. But I really doubt it. You know, for the most part, this is the only one. Blinding Light, stunning is fucking worthless. You can't stun elites for more than, like, a fraction of a second. So it's totally pointless because who cares about stunning white mobs? It doesn't matter. So because of all the stun degrading in Inferno, so that's totally pointless. And then Pillar of the Ancients, I don't know if they just didn't look at this ability or what, but it does 280% weapon damage, and then 2 seconds later does 280% weapon damage again. So that sounds kind of like it might be a lot, but that's 560, right? I'm terrible at math. That sounds right. And this does 566%. And it just does it all instantly, and you don't have to wait 2 seconds. So, like, I don't know why the hell anybody would ever want to use this ability ever. So, totally pointless. What I think they need to do, actually, is make Wave of Light as a base cost, like, I don't know, 50 spirit, and just make Wall of Light the same, but make Wall of Light cost 75 spirit. And that way, it's not so frickin' expensive to do the rest of these, which it shouldn't be. I don't know, you can make this one like 30 spirit, or, well, it couldn't be 30 because that's what Lashing Tail Kick is, right? Yeah. So maybe make it 35 or something, or maybe just get rid of it and make them all 45 or 50 spirit. But yeah, it's still too much spirit for all the rest of these. But this one's fucking awesome. I'm gonna shut up now, and or at least I'm gonna start killing things. And we're gonna drop bells on some bitches, and it's gonna be fantastic. And the last time when I did this earlier, I one-shot the Warden like instantly. He just died. You can do that to a lot of elite packs too when you drop bells on them. Really awesome. So let's go and see what we can find here. And again, we are in Inferno difficulty. And I do about 46k DPS with all my buffs and my Enchantress. You can see there that just my Deadly Reach actually hits pretty hard now. But that's not what we care about. So let's hope we get an elite pack here. Drop a bell on them. So basically what I do is I just hit my Blinding Flash and my Mantra of Conviction. Hit them both. Drop a bell. If it doesn't crit, it does an obscene amount of damage. If it does crit, everybody dies. Everybody dies. Ooh, elites. Okay. Bell! Pretty ridiculous. So these guys have a lot of health, obviously. Like, bells! Look at that. Look at that damage. It's so ridiculous. And that's like the slowest I'll kill anything. Is how quickly I just, so yeah, you know, Nephilim Valor stack 1, ready to go. Let's move on. That's like the slowest I could possibly kill anything because these Hulks or whatever have just a shit ton of health. If I get a normal elite pack, like, they'll probably get one shot. It's pretty ridiculous. But at any rate, I know, a lot of you guys probably find Act 1 farming easy. So do I. I'm not really going to worry too much about my Nephilim Valor stacks. This is mostly to show how much damage this can do. There's another burp, excuse me. So I don't really care about the MF or whatever. But this is totally viable in Act 2 if you have decent gear. A little bit harder in Act 3. But you can just run through this content in no time flat, which is really what you want to be doing when you're doing runs. You make a lot of gold because you kill things quickly. You're never really going to die, and you're just going to kill everything before it can do anything to you. And I didn't even buff that one. It still hit him for like 150k or something. And you can see with the area of effect, like, you would never need the one that does an actual AoE. Like, it's such a huge area that the hitbox covers already. Like, there's no reason you would ever use that. So I'm really hoping that these that the 1.04 patch changes for the classes in this patch, I'm hoping those are just like the little shit that they really needed to get out of the way, like, right now. And I'm hoping that they do an actual, like, big class review, because there's still a lot of moves that are bad. Like Lashing Tail Kick, unless you use Sweeping Armada, is like pretty terrible. Oh, here we go. Bells! So he died basically to half instantly, and all of his minions died in one bell. Pretty awesome. I'm hoping that I crit the Jailer so we can, or the Warden, so we can see what that looks like, because it's just so much fun. The first time I fought the Jailer with this, I keep saying Jailer, the Warden, and I one-shot him. I just like almost fell out of my chair. I was like, oh wow, that's amazing. Because I play a tank. Like this is a tank. All my gear's tank, like tank gear, all of it. Like except my weapons, I guess. But like I'm used to playing kind of slow, and wearing things down or whatever, and being survivable. But being able to one-shot stuff is just fantastic. And huge improvement over Wave of Light being, the giant bell that did the same amount of damage as my regular combo builder attack did before, so huge improvement. But anyway, what I was saying about Lashing Tail Kick is I think it's a really cool move. It's not like it's terrible, but like I just can't imagine why you'd want to spend 30 spirit to do anything that it does, unless you're using Sweeping Armada, because Sweeping Armada has like a huge knockback, so that's really useful. Like you can kick monsters away and like keep safe or whatever. That's really useful, especially if you have like a ranged Deadly Reach build, kind of like the one I'm using, I guess. But you'd use the bell instead because that also has knockback. But other than that, like most of them are just not. Oh, here we go. Let's do it. 1, 2, bell. All right. Oh, he shielded. What a cheater. Bell! Anyway, that would have been a one-shot Nephilim Valor stack 2. Let's move on. But he shielded, because he is a cheater. Terrible. So, I found my first legendary already in this patch. I found an Azurath, but, like, it was still ass. And I know some of the items, like Storm Shields, are even better now. And I have, like, the best Storm Shield I had ever seen prior to this patch. With like a 32% block chance and good stats and res. But I know the new ones have about 1,000 more block amount, and my friend just found one that has like 34% block chance. So that's pretty cool. Oh, there are Paragon levels. I'm only Paragon level 1 because I haven't been playing too much yet, but I'm not going to go into the Paragon levels too much, except that I think they're a pretty good idea. And if you're curious what they are, you basically just level on beyond 60 and get Magic Find and stats and such, so you can look up the official patch notes. Bell! To see everything. Okay, we need... Oh, no, that's our last guy. Okay, let's go up. Okay, let's hope for a crit here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I don't really care about the Nep Valor stacks too much, so I'm just going to run around the bottom here, and if I find another pack, I'll kill them, and if I don't... Okay, here we go. Let's do it. What do we got here? Fast Man Picture. Let's try and get these guys together. Okay. Buff, bell. Oh, they're so fat. Another bell. Yeah, they're dead. Next Nephilim Valor stack. Let's go. Okay. So we're at 4. I think that guarantees us a rare, right? It guarantees us 1 rare. Like I said, just for the interest of time, I'm just going to move forward without getting my 5th Nephilim Valor stack. So I'm going to try and use these guys. I'm just going to build my spirit up. It's going to recharge and on its own, and then between that and hitting those guys, yeah, I'll have max spirit by the time that I fight the Warden. You can see that goes up pretty quickly, by the way. It's 3 spirit per second. So that basically ensures that, you know, with 250 spirit for more bell spam and the regen, it basically ensures that you're going to have max spirit in every fight. 1, 2, bell! Boom! 1 bell! 1 motherfucking bell. Let's do it. I'm sorry, that is just the most satisfying thing ever. So awesome. 1 bell. Buff, buff, bell. Dead. So, I will, I guess I'll go ahead and just kill the butcher. Just because why not? But that's basically the gist of this build. Do an absolutely absurd amount of damage, and you're basically always going to have 250 spirit during an elite pack. So if you don't one-shot the elite pack, then you'll have enough spirit to drop 1, 2 more bells, you know, at the very least, without even doing an auto attack, and there is no way that they're going to survive that. And again, if you had a 2-handed weapon, oh my god, I don't forget about it. It'd probably be like twice as big as the numbers that I'm putting up right now. And you know, I don't have a good 2-handed weapon to show you guys, so. But if you had a 2-handed weapon with this spec, it would be just like fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't know. That is how a move that eats up, you know, 75%, which is half of your base spirit. That is how that move should feel. It should feel like when you hit someone with that, it is an unrecoverable loss of health. You know, it just wipes them out because I don't know. You're spending your whole freaking bar on it. Basically, you might as well, right? So a very good change for that, and we'll just kind of mosey on through here. Let's see, what else can we talk about this patch? Let's see. Oh, did I talk about the actual 2-handed weapon changes? I don't think I actually did. I've actually re-recorded this video twice because I don't know, my sound card was being a piece of crap, and I had to redo it. So I apologize if I'm less enthused. Imagine how enthused I was the first time I recorded this video. And I had one shot the boss. In Inferno, again, we are in Inferno. No, actually, this is an edited video. It's photoshopped. I could tell by the pixels, so this is clearly hell difficulty and not Inferno. Dislike, unsubscribe. Thank you. Sorry, that was my impression of every generic YouTube troll. Anyway, they did buff if I didn't already say it, they did buff 2-handed weapons in general, so they just spawn with like more stats. Like you can get a crap ton of like spirit and damage and crit damage and just flat damage and not spirit. Crap ton of dexterity or strength or int or whatever, any main stats. So that's really awesome. Here we go. Let's kill the butcher. He doesn't die quite as quick. He's got a lot of health, but we can still hit him really hard. Alright, here we go. Got our buffs up. No, I don't. I gotta hit my 3. 1, 2, bell! Boom! Bell again! So many bells! There's just bells everywhere. I'm gonna build up. Build up a little bit here. Drop a big bomb on him. Okay. Boom, boom, boom! Oh, it's so nice. I love it. I love it! That's really fast, right? Like, you can run through these runs in no time. Now, obviously, you know, I have pretty good gear, but I think you could actually do more damage than I'm doing. Oh, wow, I got actually filled up. Holy crap. I think you could actually do more damage than I'm doing if you had worse gear and a 2-handed weapon. Because even though, like, maybe your physical, like, your DPS number would be lower, the per hit is going to be much higher. And that's all you really care about is, like, a big-ass fucking bell hit. Because it's going to kill everything anyway. Like, which, you know, again, is how this build should work. So I'm going to go do 50 of these runs and, I don't know, listen to For Whom the Bell Tolls or something and be really cheesy. So thanks for watching. I might make some more 1.04 videos. We'll see. You know, I have a little bit more fun with this game now than I was before, so it's enough to tie me in, but they still need to make some bigger patches. But I hope you guys like giant fucking bells. I'll catch you later. Peace!